Last year, a credit card company gave each of its cardholders a rebate on the amount charged during the year. The rebate was 1% of the portion of the amount charged in excess of 2,000. So from 0 to 2,000, there is no rebate, right? There's a 0% rebate. Let's not forget this. Then excess of 2,000, but less than 5,000. In this particular range, the rebate was 1%. The rebate was 1% in this, okay? And 2% of the portion of the amount charged in excess of 5,000. So whatever was more than 5,000 excess, on that there was a 2% rebate, right? So for the first 2,000, there was no rebate. Then for the next 3,000, from 2,000 to 5,000, there's a 1% rebate. And then there was a 2% rebate. Now it is telling me that the cardholder received a total rebate equal to 1.3% of the amount charged. So, this is going to make me think of weighted averages, that, okay, there is some amount at 0%, some amount at 1%, some amount at 2%, and overall it came out to be 1.3%, which is of course going to lie in between the 0 and the 2, right? And it does. So I have something at 0, I have something at 1, I have something at 2, and overall I get over here is 1.3. Now, look, when I have 3 different values, what I can do is I can find the average of 2 values quickly first, and then find the average of the other 2 values. Of course, I can use the formula that we used in the previous question as well. But, in case the calculations are like this, like for example, I'm looking at this and I'm saying this is a ratio of 2:3. Right? The weights are the ratio 2:3, which means that my average for 0% and 1% is going to be in, the distance is going to flip. There is that scale which is there in my mind. I know there is a 0 and a 1 over here. I know the ratio is 2:3. That means the distance is going to flip. This is going to become 3. This is going to become 2, which means that, so this is the scale that is there in my mind currently. And I know this is a 2 and this is a 3, which means that this will become 3 and this will become 2, this will be 3 and this is 2. So this is going to become a 0.6, right? Because the distance of 1 has been divided in the ratio 3:2, right? Total 5 parts, which means each part is a 0.2. And look, once you solve enough questions, these things are going to become second nature. You won't really struggle for it's, the number line is already there in my mind. I already see a 0 and a 1 and divide it into various parts. I know that I have to divide the distance between 0 and 1, the ratio 3:2. It means it's going to go to 0.6, right? So the average of this is nothing but 0.6. So now the average of these two is a 0.6 over here. And now my average of 0.6, which is for my first 5,000, right? And the average of my these two together is 1.3. Now, do you notice that the distance between these is nothing but 0.7? Distance between these is also nothing but 0.7, which means they're equidistant from the average, which means their weights are equal. And I know the weight of this is nothing but 5K, which means the weight of this is also nothing but 5K. And which means that the total amount was 5K plus 5K. There was a 5K over here also in this particular range as well. So that is why my total was 10K, right? Yeah. Again, almost no calculations involved, right? Of course, as I said, I can use the same formula with 3C1, C2, C3, and solve that also. But then once you get the hang of it, you really don't need to. You can just see it right there. You can just visualize it. You can just see the answer right there, right? You don't really need to do too much. I mean, I won't say there are no calculations. I'll say that the calculations become super simple once you break them down. Whenever there are 3 quantities in weighted averages, I normally first try to find the average of 2 of them, given the weights, of course. And then I try to find the average of the other 2, rather than using that, cumbersome formula, because the average of 2 things I can find orally. I don't have to do anything for it, right? So then that works better. And in GMAT, you do get to see 3 quantities also.